Hi there, it's Sylvie with another health tip. Just a quick addition, some technical issues with phone and storage which somehow managed to change the orientation of my video. So we might get some black lines going on. Next video should be better. All my previous videos are better, so this is just an anomaly. So as things get fixed, so just letting people know. Okay, I'm working on doing a little bit of rebranding and seeing how that goes. So enjoy. Looking to lose some pounds? That is such a loaded question for me because weight is only a part of our body, and I like to approach things in a more holistic way. And yet a lot of people are looking to shed some pounds because they have more weight than they like. They have more fat in places where they don't feel it's healthy. So the idea is to create a very healthy and balanced body-mind, and the body will find its natural weight. So ideally, I don't like to say that there is a specific ideal weight, and there's something that feels comfortable. There's something that feels healthy. Definitely if you've got lots of jiggly fat, tissue that you can, grab with your hands, that's probably too much. And it can affect your health. But it's not just the weight, it's like part of the whole picture. So a lot of people gain weight simply because they're overstressed, because you produce cortisol, and it's just such a difficult process to stop. And a lot of people don't necessarily have or feel that they have that much control over what is stressing them. So you might be, in the sandwich generation, taking care of kids, taking care of your parents. You might have a job that you feel you need to keep for the moment because it's making ends meet and you haven't figured out a new one yet. So there's a lot of really challenging aspects in life that create a lot of stress. And there are some ways of managing it, and sometimes one needs to consider drastic life changes. So often when people get really sick, like the big C, or any other, heart issues or heart attack, or a big thing, a stroke, that's when they kind of really stop and look at their lives and say, uh-oh, what I'm doing is definitely not working. No, I need to stop. So when you're a little heavier than you like, or a lot heavier than you'd like, before something more drastic happens as signals for your body to saying, hey, I'm not really feeling balanced, it's better to have a more proactive aspect and seeing how we can come back to balance. So I do have a lot of videos on stress, so I don't want to go over that too much, just how it does contribute to weight gain, and makes it very difficult to lose that weight. In fact, some people react differently to stress. Some people lose weight in stress. So it really depends on your constitution and your habits. So a lot of people, we've been trained and programmed to eat for entertainment, to eat every time we're being social, to eat when we're bored, to eat when we're scared, to eat as a reward, to eat something that we remember in childhood was a celebratory food. And unfortunately, a lot of these foods are really not good for us. And a lot of these foods are processed or high in sugar, have a sugar and fat combination, which is a really, really not healthy combination, like ice cream, culinary disaster, even though it's really yummy. And so the idea is to reduce and eliminate all the things that are not serving us and replace them with things that are serving us. Now, cravings are real. When you eat a lot of sugars and different foods or high carb foods, you create an environment in your system where your associated critters, because we all have associated critters, some are better than others, some keep us healthy, some make us eat lots of sugar or drink a lot of alcohol. So there's different things. There are parasites, there are bacteria, there are yeasts. So the idea is to really balance that whole system. I mean, most of the DNA in our human body is not human. So we really need to be aware of our microbiome and everything else that's in that, and to feed that in a way that sustains our body and that feeds the ones that are serving us and reduces or eliminates the ones who aren't. So I recommend definitely for stress things like Tai Chi, meditation, Qigong, low or no impact aerobic exercises. And you could just do this like even 5-10 minutes a day. I mean, ideally 15 minutes or 3 times a week, however you can fit it in. Sometimes just walking up the stairs, up and down the stairs, if you have stairs close by to you. I have a hill by my house, and I go up and down that hill. I even use little weights, so I just kind of go up and down that hill and just get a little bit of workout, because I don't have time to go to the gym very much. I do go swimming now. I fit it into my schedule, and it's the first time in a long time that I've actually managed to fit that into my schedule. So I get that, we're very busy, and how do we squeeze it in? So if it's something that you can do from your house, or steps from your house, or steps from your work, then, or on the way to work, one of the classic ones is, get off the bus stop one stop earlier if you take the bus, or make sure you incorporate a 5-10 minute walk during your lunch if you can. So many little proactive things that you can do to help, and that helps reduce stress, and it helps with your cardiovascular system, and it helps the whole body function so much better. And breathing exercises, and there's tons of YouTube stuff on breathing exercises. I don't feel like I need to do one. Just find one that you like. There's something called 4-square breathing, which is really simple. Breathing out longer than you're breathing in helps to reset your nervous system into rest, and see if I can remember that. Rest and regenerate, as opposed to fight or flight. So there's a lot going on there. Okay. So it's just good to know, as long as you feel energized, you feel comfortable in your body, you feel comfortable in your clothing, then I think those are really good signs. And if you've been told by a medical doctor, even though you feel comfortable and all that it would be important for you to lose weight, then maybe you might want to consider a few of these tricks. So I reduce or eliminate all refined sugars, and even the natural sugars like honey and maple syrup and agave. They're very, very sweet, and that just keeps the cycle going. I mean, once you're balanced, once in a while, having a little bit, as long as you're not creating more cravings, is going to be fine. But it just depends where you're at, how fast you want to lose weight, and how much weight you feel that you would need or you would like to lose. Seed oils, they're just bad for everyone. Just avoid them. Things like sunflower oil, safflower oil, even flax oil, which has been said to be better. You're probably better off with cod liver oil. It's flax oil, it's like omega-3s, but it's a precursor to omega-3s. It's not actually there. So if your system is not in balance and you're not healthy, you may not even be converting it to the proper omega-3s that you really need. So there's a lot of controversy. That's just what I've came to. I've kind of been there, done that, and now I'm back towards more animal-based products. It seems that for building and regenerating the body, especially as people age, especially over 50. Yes, I'm over 50. And so it helps the skin, it helps the muscle mass, it helps your hormones. People actually need the cholesterol. So all the meat, animal-based fats are the healthiest fats. And so to say, canola oil is poison. What else did I notice? Cottonseed oil, which most people don't have anymore. It can be hidden in the things that you buy in a box. But if you're trying to be healthier and lose some pounds, don't eat anything out of box. Ideally nothing in a can or anything like that. Ideally we want to be cooking for ourselves. And there are ways of doing things very simply, and that's part of what I do as a healing journey coach, is I help people actually apply all the knowledge that they already have. A lot of people say, well, I know I'm not supposed to be eating this, and I know I should be eating more of this, and I just don't have time in my busy day to organize this. I don't know how to do it. So that is one of the services that I offer, and who knows, there might be some information already out there, a lot of life hacks, etc., to make life easier for you, because it's really important to make your health a priority, because when you're not feeling great, nothing feels really great. What's really interesting is if you eat a high animal protein and high animal fat, ideally about like 50-50 fat and protein. Some people, there's different ratios that might work. It's just too much protein is not ideal, and the fats we can really use as fuel. So that's like the ketosis thing. And I will have links for really great guidance for videos that I found with the best instructions for the keto diet, for the carnivorous diet, and I think that's mostly it, keto and carnivorous. And there's this really great guy, he calls himself the carb addiction doc, and he really makes it clear how so many of us are really addicted to carbohydrates and have like yo-yo emotion. Wanted to add a few more things, having some tech issues with my phone storage, so here we go. Okay, I wanted to add for the stress aspect. A lot of us have many commitments, and sometimes if we look at them really seriously, we can reduce some commitments. Or maybe we're going out with friends too much and we need to take a little bit more time to rest, or maybe too long, or maybe, leave the party an hour earlier and get an hour more of rest. So there's strategies that can be put in without cramping the lifestyle too much, we can hope. Okay, and so that's the getting rid of the busy makers. And some commitments are tough decisions depending on how much, how many times you go to the hospital to care for a loved one. If you're not in good shape, you won't be able to look after them. So finding that balance where, you can look after yourself and the people you love. Just a note on, no carb sweeteners. There's only 2 that I like, that I found so far. I find I like this one product, and I'm going to name the brand, might as well, because that's what I use. I don't get any money for this. Eventually I would love to kind of get that set up, but hey, I'm just helping people find things, and this is the one I found. It's called Sweet Monk, and it's a monk fruit extract, and it doesn't have any artificial flavors or natural flavors or anything weird in it. If you're buying monk fruit extract, make sure you really look at the ingredients, because some of them do put flavorings in them. Even natural flavors are highly suspect, so I wouldn't recommend ingesting any of that. I also use licorice powder. So, depending on, make sure you don't have like hypertension. If you have hypertension, really high blood pressure, a lot of licorice is not ideal. Some people cannot handle licorice. Though if you have low blood pressure, or if you if you feel a little cold, it's a wonderful healing herb. So you can look up the contraindications for licorice and the benefits of licorice. And licorice powder doesn't taste so much like licorice. I actually sneak it into some of my chocolates that I make. And that's the only sweetener that I use, because I use higher carb, grain-free things like coconut flour and coconut manna, or coconut butter and things. And it has a fairly sweet flavor in and of itself. So it's not completely zero carb, but it's way lower than what normally people would have. So I put it in there, and you really can't taste the licorice taste. Like, some people really don't like licorice, but that's like eating black licorice. If you don't like that, I wouldn't completely give up on the idea of using a little bit of licorice powder for a little sweetness. It has a really, really lovely natural sweetness. Cinnamon and even cloves have an interesting kind of sweetness going on with them, depending on how they are used. So can experiment with some herbs that way. I wanted to caution about stevia. Depending on what age you are, it may or may not matter, but I heard or read somewhere that it was a hormone disruptor, and actually some culture use it as a contraceptive in higher doses. So I'm a little bit leery about that. And if I had a, teenage son or daughter who might want to have kids later on in life, maybe they shouldn't go crazy on the stevia, just in case. So that's just my 2 cents on that. And all the like the xylitols or erythritol, blah, 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 blah. A lot of those are actually made from GMO grains that are made into alcohols. So, I mean, go for it, do your research. I haven't been satisfied with anything that I found. I kind of looked into that enough to feel that I've decided I'm choosing not to use them. So, I mean, depending on where you're at, if that kind of thing will help you shift your diet, it's a kind of stepping stone as long as we don't overdo it, then, sometimes it's just, we just need a little something to get us through, because maybe we're not all the way there yet in terms of getting rid of cravings or for celebrations or something, because there is that social aspect to eating that ideally you wouldn't want to completely eliminate. It's part of so many cultures. It's just the idea to keep it as healthy as we can, and whatever you have in your house most of the time is very steady and has some animal products and some animal fats and some animal proteins, and ideally fairly low carb. So avoiding the really sweet fruits to the best of your abilities, or having them in very small amounts, very, very rarely. Generally, berries are pretty safe. Kiwis are not that sweet. I have the odd orange. Great fruits, like with almost zero sugar, is lemons and limes. Oh, I love my lemon and lime juice. I love to put fresh lemon juice in water in the morning. That is a great way to help cleanse the liver and to help you lose weight. So every morning you could have fresh lemon or lime juice, maybe a little pinch of salt in your water, and drink that up. I have a fair bit of water in the morning. Is a good time to kind of flush out your system. Some people use enemas to clear out the other end of the system, because if things are not moving through, then the body isn't functioning properly and it's hard to lose weight. So those are other options that can be done, and some of those things you want to be using a practitioner to help you with that. And some people are really good at research and they make up their own minds. So I'm holding you all responsible for your choices in those departments. I have myself used that and then there's the colon irrigation is good. It's not something you want to overdo. It's not something you want to use if you overeat to clear things out. You just want to do it once in a while to make sure that your body's detoxing properly and that everything is cleared out and you don't have toxin built up in your colon, which is not ideal. I think I did mention alcohol. Like, drinking alcohol is a sugar essentially, and it does put on weight, and it does all kinds of really not so great things to the body. Also affects your pineal gland. So the only alcohol I have is if I have a herbal tincture, and it's been like that for a while. I mean, some people like to use the word moderation. I'm very leery. I find moderation is a slippery slope. What's moderation? Is moderation a drink a day, a drink a week, a drink a month, a drink a year? I suppose if one had a drink quarterly and maybe just a very small amount, that probably wouldn't do much of anything. So I would consider that moderate. Other people would consider other things moderate. So it's a very large spectrum, and you're either moderate here, 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 or here. So I want to be at the moderate in terms of, like, this is really unhealthy, this is very healthy. I don't want to be moderate in here. I don't even want to be moderate in here. I want to be moderate in here. So that's kind of how I work it. So hopefully that's inspiring, helpful information. And I do have a website called Healing with Sylvie. You can check that out. I think I usually write it down. I don't know if it's doing live links like that for me at YouTube yet. You can check that out. And sometimes on some of my information, I usually leave my email. I'll make sure to leave my email in this one. Okay, I'm not consistent with that all the time, so I'll make sure to have it down here. And have a lovely rest of whatever day you're having until we meet again.